Today on Kokusai Analysis, we have a real-life Cinderella story. A woman from humble beginnings who became a star on both sides of the Atlantic. Josephine Baker overcame extreme poverty and racism in East St. Louis to become a cultural icon in France and around the world. She had several professions during her life, including singer, dancer, actress, and even spy. So how did Josephine become Josephine? In this episode of Kokusai Analysis, we'll scour the streets of Paris to find out. Frida Josephine McDonald was born in St. Louis, Missouri on June 3, 1906. She had to quit school at age 8 and started cleaning houses to support her family. She experienced racism from an early age, both in her work and also in her community. Her family narrowly escaped the East St. Louis riots, which destroyed her home and neighborhood. Josephine left home at age 13, with a dream to become a star. At the age of 16, she joined a dance troupe and toured all over America. This was America in the 1920s, the age of jazz, the Charleston, and minstrel shows. It was tough for a woman of color to start a career on stage, and she had to play to segregated audiences. In 1923, Josephine had her first big break in the musical Shuffle Along. She toured the country and then moved to New York City that same year. 2 years later, at only 19 years old, she had the opportunity to travel to Paris to perform. It was 1925, and American jazz music was becoming popular in Paris. At the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées, Josephine first captivated Parisian audiences with her Danse Sauvage on October 2, 1925. The next year, she performed at Les Folies Bergères in a show called Les Folies du Jour. Baker made a sensation with her now famous banana skirt. These dances played up her exotic appeal. As Josephine became more skilled in the French language, she adopted the French spelling of Joséphine, and her career success continued to grow. She opened her restaurant Chez Joséphine in the Pigalle neighborhood of Paris in December 1926. The restaurant has since closed, but her adopted son opened a new Chez Joséphine in New York City that has been operating since 1986. She bought a mansion called Le Beau Chêne in 1929. That same year, she traveled to Austria, Hungary, and Argentina, meeting critical acclaim, but also facing a racist backlash. Josephine's early performances in France left a strong impression on the public. She would eventually become an icon of the 1920s, which the French termed les années folles, or the crazy years. Among her many product endorsements, the Baker Fix hair product became very popular and earned Josephine a fortune over the years. In 1929, Josephine became a movie star. She first starred in La Sirène des Tropiques, or the Siren of the Tropics. In 1934, she starred in the romantic comedy Zouzou. Josephine continued performing in Paris throughout the 1930s, at Le Casino de Paris, in a play called Paris qui remue, which celebrated France's colonial empire. By 1937, France had become her home. Josephine gave up her US citizenship and became a French citizen. Josephine was approached by a counterintelligence officer to be a spy for the Allies and gather important information at events. She managed to escape suspicion due to her stardom, even openly writing notes on her hands during parties. Finally, the situation got too dangerous and Josephine had to leave France. She went to Portugal, with military secrets written on her sheet music in invisible ink. She spent several months in Morocco recovering from medical issues, and then much of the rest of the war entertaining US and British troops in North Africa. She insisted that the audience be integrated, pointing out that otherwise, what's the point of waging war on Hitler? Throughout her career, Josephine insisted on integrated audiences. After the war, Josephine was awarded the Legion of Honor and the Croix de Guerre for her wartime bravery.
Et les décorations que vous arborez, vous les avez
gagnées sur le champ de bataille.
Her whole life, Josephine wanted to show that people of all colors could live together. Unable to have children of her own, she decided to adopt a rainbow tribe of children from different ethnicities and religions. She bought the Milande estate with the intention of turning it into a tourist attraction that could sustain the family. Her mother and siblings eventually left the segregated southern US and moved to France to live on the estate. Back in her home country, Josephine fought for civil rights. During a 1951 visit, she fought unsuccessfully to save Willie McGee from execution. During this visit, despite her stardom, she couldn't get a hotel room in New York City because they were afraid of offending Southern customers. That same year, the NAACP declared May 20th, 1951, Josephine Baker Day. Josephine was invited to give a speech at the 1963 March on Washington, where she was the only female speaker. She spoke alongside other speakers like Martin Luther King Jr., who gave his famous I Have a Dream speech the same day. Within a few years, Josephine had to go back to work to pay for the cost of her estate and raising her children. In 1956, already in her 50s, Josephine arranged a farewell at the Olympia in Paris, where she sang a new song called Dans mon village about her children.
Dans mon village, 11 tout petits enfants, 11 orphelins, d'ici de là, qui s'ennuyaient seuls.
Josephine divorced her fourth husband, Joe, in 1957. He was the adoptive father of her children and had helped her manage the estate while she was gone. Josephine had a big heart and couldn't resist adopting more children than the couple could afford. This ended up contributing to the divorce. Josephine experienced money troubles and had trouble managing her estate, which eventually put it in danger of repossession. In 1963, she made public appeals for funding with the help of actress Brigitte Bardot.
Je viens vous parler de ce qui arrive en ce moment à Joséphine Baker. Je trouve personnellement que c'est bouleversant et que nous devons tous faire quelque chose pour elle. Vous savez que mardi, on doit vendre le château d'Emiland. C'est-à-dire que cette femme va se retrouver avec ses 11 enfants, sans maison, sans toit et sans argent.
In 1964, she had a heart attack, but she recovered. Despite some generous donations from wealthy individuals, she and her 13 children finally faced eviction in 1968. While attempting to hold on to the estate for just a little longer, Josephine had a second heart attack, but again recovered. Eventually, Princess Grace of Monaco learned of Josephine's situation and offered a villa for Josephine and her children. Josephine had become an icon in her adopted country of France. American crowds never seemed to give her the same acclaim she got in France and elsewhere. After decades of fickle crowds in her home country, her last performance in the US at Carnegie Hall in 1973 was met with a standing ovation. She cried on stage. In 1975, Josephine tried to stage a comeback and had two very successful shows at the Bobino Theatre in Paris. She died days later, on April 12, 1975, at the age of just 68 years old. Showing France's gratefulness for her service during the war, she was given a state funeral with full military honors at the Église de la Madeleine. Afterward, Princess Grace arranged a private ceremony in Monaco, where Josephine is buried today. Above anything, Josephine is remembered for her performances. Beyond the banana skirt, Josephine was a talented entertainer who could woo crowds even into her later years. She was a trailblazer as a woman of color in show business. Still, her success was due more than anything to her incredible talent and her fearlessness. She was brave enough to attempt a career in show business, to move to a new country, to become a spy in a dangerous war, to speak her mind and fight for equality in an intolerant world. Josephine's life was full of ups and downs. She had a tumultuous love life, with 4 husbands and many lovers of both genders. Her whole life, Josephine fought against racism. Despite the hatred and discrimination she experienced in her own country and abroad, she chose to see the best in humanity. Josephine fought for integrated audiences and yearned to show the world that we could all live in harmony. Her big heart led her to adopt 13 orphans from all over the world. Josephine left a legacy on both sides of the Atlantic, but she is most fondly remembered in France. France nurtured her career and treated her with more dignity than her native country ever did. Josephine's legacy has become a part of the Parisian landscape, with a public swimming pool, a public school, and even the Place Joséphine Baker, named in her honor. In August 2021, the French government announced that Josephine will be inaugurated into the Panthéon in November 2021. She will become the first Black woman to receive this honor. Her body will remain in Monaco, but a ceremony will be held, and a plaque will be put up to commemorate her contribution to France on the same level of the people that are buried there. She will join other great men and women, like Voltaire, Victor Hugo, and Marie Curie, who have made great contributions to the French nation and to the world. This final great honor underscores how important her legacy is in France. Even beyond her lifetime, Joséphine continues to inspire women and men around the world, myself included. If you're interested in learning about other inspiring people who have bridged the gap between different cultures, or if you're interested in geopolitics, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to get updates. See you next time on Kokusai Analysis.
Mon pays est Paris, par toujours. Mon cœur est ravi, ma savane